Everybody getting me? We got sound. Can you hear me? Test 1, 2. Everybody here? Just checking. Refreshing. Sorry. Just need to make sure everybody can hear me. Testing 1, 2. Are you getting me? Are you watching commercials? I'm waiting for commercials. There we go. Thank you so much, guys. Awesome. It's great to be here. I don't usually do this, so this is new for me. I'm not usually a live streamer, but I'll talk about why I'm doing this now with some updates. But first, I want to invite everybody here. I'm following along in the chat right now. Big Swole, what's up? Awesome. Thank you for joining me. My wife will be texting me throughout to make sure everything is cool. Thanks for being here. So, like I said, what's up, Wells? My buddy, my best buddy, Paul Wells, greatest drummer in New York, is here with us. What's up, Welser? So a couple of things. First, I'm going to start out just with some life updates because it's been a crazy, crazy year for me and for my family. Long story short, very shortly after New Year's, very shortly after New Year's, my wife got very ill, and it came on very fast, and we didn't know what was going on. And she ended up spending 2 months in the hospital. She was in the hospital basically for January and February, and there's been an ongoing issue with her having surgeries and recovering. She had surgery this past week. It looks like she has probably one more surgery. And so in addition to the things that I already do, I teach at a performing arts school, I teach at a couple of colleges, and I also have a very busy gigging schedule. In addition to that, it's just been very compounded by either trying to go see my wife in the hospital or bringing her home, trying to be here for her at home. My regular schedule has been totally impacted. I haven't been able to create on a regular basis like I would have hoped to, which is part of the reason I wanted to live stream. I'm not a live streamer, but I wanted to say hey to everybody, let you know what I'm working on next, and also get myself in the algorithm so that I'm not kind of left behind. And I just wanted to give everybody kind of an update. The good news is that my wife is on the mend, thank goodness, and we're looking kind of at the end of this long process through 2025. Maybe in a couple of months this will all be over. But I've wanted to be here for her, and it's kind of impacted everything else that I've been doing. But she is my biggest fan and my reason for being here, and my number one priority right now. So I haven't been able to be on the content creation game as much as I would have liked to, but she's my first thing, and everything else will kind of fall behind that. So in addition to playing music, teaching music, this is my last week of college, and it's crazy. And I still have about a month left with my high school gig. So there's a lot going on in addition to playing. So I wanted to let everybody know that I'm thinking about you. I really wish I could be making videos every week or every other week. I had a choice this past weekend to maybe rush through a video just so I could get something up, and something inside of me this Sunday night, I started the process and I thought, I don't want to do that. I don't want to rush through something and just get something up. I have some really good things in the works that I would rather postpone and be thoughtful about it. And I got the idea to live stream because I don't usually do this. So I thought I could hop on for an hour, say hello to everybody, take some questions, maybe some requests, and let you know what's going on. So that's basically what's been going on with me life wise. That's a life update. I'm doing well. My physical health is great, knock on wood. Um, it's just all my energy has been going towards my wife and her situation, and I just want her to heal up and be herself again. So hopefully in a couple of months, um, she'll be able to do that. Yeah, channel updates. I'm always trying to work on things. I have a really awesome video that I'm working on right now that I hope to get up within the next week. Uh, Sneak preview. How many Minnie Riperton fans are out there? Do you guys know who Minnie Riperton is? The late great Minnie Riperton. I reached out to her husband, Richard Rudolph, who's one of the great producers, guitarists, um, and he like responded right away. And we sat down and we had a conversation. And we're gonna talk some more. I wanted to do a video about one of her songs, and he was so gracious with his time. And we did a Zoom, and so I'm kind of going through that talk that we had and cutting some things out, and I'm gonna do a video about Minnie coming up, about one of her incredible songs that's had a lasting impact on me. I'm very, very excited about that. I have a bunch of musical, bass related and non bass related things that I want to talk about. Um, and I'm always open to good suggestions, which we'll leave some time for some suggestions during this chat if you want to do that. But yeah, I'm still very excited about the channel. Um, I'm excited about trying new things, um, getting content up, going in new directions, and doing things that I'm excited about. If you've seen my videos, hopefully you get some sense of excitement and passion when I talk about music. That's what it's all about. So I'm reading some of these comments. Thank you guys so much for all your prayers and blessings and well wishes. It's very, very beautiful. So thank you. I appreciate it. My wife definitely appreciates it. Excuse me, I got these Invisalign in my mouth. It's hard to talk. I take these out when I do my videos, so that's a trade secret. We really appreciate all of your thoughts, your prayers, your well wishes. So, like I said, I have some exciting things right now. I'm on a huge Herbie Hancock Headhunters tip right now, like the stuff from the early to mid '70s. I'm like really huge on that right now, and I feel myself like a magnet being drawn to making a video about that because I love that music so much. So that's probably something that I'm going to want to talk about. But I'm really excited about this Minnie Riperton video. So keep your eyes peeled for that because that's what's next. Comment just caught my eye. Your videos got me playing bass again after taking a hiatus. Thank you. Thank you, K. Josephine. If I have a mission at all, I want to inspire people and I want to drive them toward the music. That's I feel like if I do that, mission accomplished. I want to drive you towards the music. So that's wonderful. That's really wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for watching my videos and taking the time to put on my channel. Every view means something to me. Everybody should know that. I appreciate every single view that I get. Every single one. If I get 13 views, it's so meaningful to me. Every single one. So thank you, and thank for allowing me to be there on your journey. Yeah, you guys are amazing. Oh, my man, Paul Wells. Paul Jackson or Buster Williams? Paul Jackson, of course. I mean, I love Buster. I love those records. I love Sextant. I love Fat Albert, Rotunda, but I'm on a total like Headhunters kick. Like I'm like YouTube rabbit holing all the early Headhunters, particularly the Thrust group with Mike Clark is like I gotta do something about that group. It's just ridiculous. Okay, so first, before we do, my wife just said, tell your fans how much we appreciate their love and support. Keep watching and sharing my husband's work. Thank you, honey. Before we do any requests, and I'm going to allow you to have that opportunity to type in requests, and I'll try to see what they are, and I'll bring them up. I want to do a Q&A. If anybody has any questions that aren't so much requests related, it can be bass related, it can be music related, it can be YouTube channel related. Um, Anything at all, please type it in the chat, and I'd be happy to address your questions because I really wanted to make time for that. I haven't done this in a couple years. I haven't done a Q&A video, and it's a lot easier to do a Q&A like this than it is to produce a Q&A video. So I wanted to do that. So let's see. Do we have any questions? What do you think about Carol Kay getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Carol was my hubby's bass teacher. Marilyn, I think it's past due, right? She's a legend. She's on so many records. She deserves to be in the hall. I know that there's some friction with her and the rest of the Wrecking Crew. If you haven't looked this up, there's some drama going on between her and some of the members of the Wrecking Crew that played on all those records. But regardless, her resume speaks for itself, and she's awesome. She's on some of the most iconic music ever. She deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And don't get me started on Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because there's a lot of people that deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Have you done any shows on Stanley Clarke? Not yet. Stanley was one of my heroes. Part of that is intimidation because I like to pull off. I like to play when I talk about a musician. And some of my videos, I have to really practice and get stuff together. I did a video recently that was the top 10 bass lines in 1991, and there was a Les Claypool bass line on there that I had to practice for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It was so hard. So if I'm going to honor Stanley, which I will at some point, I want to make sure I do it correctly. So yes, I will. And I'll tell you a quick story. My grandfather, the first jazz record I ever had was Stanley Clarke, If This Bass Could Only Talk. That was a transformative record for me because I was listening to rock. I was listening to Rush and Yes. And my grandfather, I was like 13, and my grandfather came into town. He said, oh, I heard you were playing bass. And he pulled this record, vinyl record, out of a bag. Here. And he handed me, if you've ever seen that record, it's Stanley's bass on his sneaker, on his foot, on a Jordan, Michael Jordan sneaker. If This Bass Could Only Talk. That record like transformed my life. So if I talk about Stanley, I might do something off of that record. So he's coming. He's coming. Pros and cons of a 5-string bass. Pros is the low notes. Those low, booming low notes. Cons are the low notes. You got to get those low notes to not talk when you're playing on the rest of the instrument. How's your MS, Paul? Hopefully okay. Yes, I'm doing great. I'm trying to abide by the rules, the 10 commandments. Well, really the 3 commandments: sleep, eat, work out. Mostly, I definitely work out and I definitely eat. I could use more sleep, but I'm doing well. Thank you. And I'm taking my meds, so that's important too. Are you accepting students via Zoom? Right now, unfortunately, no. And let me explain. I get a lot of emails where people ask me if I will give Zoom lessons. Unfortunately, during COVID and the pandemic, I've super burnt out on virtual teaching. Not because I was taking on so many students, but I teach at a public arts high school. I'm an adjunct. We did teaching every single day, and I teach at 2 colleges. I had to teach virtually in those 2 places. I burnt out so hard on virtual teaching, not just the sound issues, the latency issues, not being able to see somebody or touch their hand, but also the preparation. You have to prepare 15 times what you would need in person to do a virtual lesson, and I burnt out hard on it. I make a couple of exceptions. There's a guy from Pittsburgh who's in the service in Europe right now, who's a great bass player, and I told him, hey, yeah, let's get together, and I can see myself coming back to it. It's just I need a break. I need a break. So I might start it up again at some point, maybe by the fall, but I kind of burnt out on it. Sorry, if I don't get to your question, I'll get back around, or you can type it in again if you want to get my attention. Um, are you familiar with John Pena? He's an unsung great bass player. No, I am not, Jazz Life, and I will write it down. I'm totally into checking out stuff I'm not hip to, and John Pena is a name I don't know, and I will check him out. Um, my first live. Do any for Doug Wimbish. Doug Wimbish is ridiculous. He is that dude. Yes, I would love to. I'd love to talk about him at some point. I grew up with those early Sugar Hill records, and he is so important in the development of early rap and Sugar Hill. Although for some reason y'all don't watch my hip hop videos, but that's okay. That's okay. I would love to talk about Doug Wimbish. He's a bad dude. Um, just looking for a question. Love the vid you did on Anthony Jackson's work with Steve Kahn. The Suitcase Live album with Dennis Chambers on drums is one of my favorites. Yes, Pharaoh of Funk. That is some ridiculous stuff. And my man Paul Wells, who was in the chat earlier, he hit me to all of that stuff when we were kids. I was following him. He's a virtuoso drummer. He started listening to jazz, and I just pivoted with him. And whatever he was checking out, I started checking out, and that's some great, great music. Who are some notable players that you've shared the stage with? Oh, well, I've been very fortunate in a couple of ways. One way is that I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and not New York, New York. That means there are high level musicians here, but there's not the numbers like there are in New York. So I get a lot of opportunities when bass player A or B can't make a gig. I might get to slide in and play that gig. And some of the people I've gotten to work with as a result that I love are people like Hubert Laws, Bob James. I play with George Benson. He comes to Pittsburgh a lot. I was on the road with Stanley Turrentine for a long time. I was on the road with Maynard Ferguson, the trumpet player, for a long time. That was my first serious road gig. I did an album with Maynard Ferguson. Um, yeah, I get to play with a lot of I get a lot of great opportunities in a city like this. If you're responsible, you can read, you can play in a lot of different styles, you can play acoustic, you can play electric. At some point somebody's going to need you. So I get a lot of really great opportunities. Yeah, there have been a lot of people. You can go to my website, you know, and check out my bio. I've named some names there. There have been a lot of really great people I've gotten to play with in the theater world, in the jazz world, and all kinds of stuff. Why do you think John Paul Jones was so overlooked? T-Bone. Because he's a bass player. Bass players tend to get overlooked. Bass players, good bass players, are often invisible. I use that word because Nathan East uses that word. Nathan East says his ultimate goal is to be invisible on the record, and he plays so well that it's not invisible. But we're supportive. We're the ultimate team players. And JPJ was not ripping solos. He was not like really huge, like big drums, screaming vocals. He was like underneath all of that. And he was incredible, but he did his job so well. A great bass player, when they're doing their job, often is the most overlooked person in the band. So that's why that's just my guess. Um, you a Steelers fan, original. Come on now. Come on now. Come on. Steelers. Steelers, you see that right there? When so I was born in 74, right at the beginning when they started winning Super Bowls. When I was in grade school, you had to be able to name every player on the team with their number, and like this is culture. If you live in Pittsburgh, if you grew up in Pittsburgh, you better believe you're a Steelers fan. Of course, I'm a Steelers fan. So, go Steelers. I don't know how this year is going to go. I'm kind of scared if Aaron Rodgers is going to be here. I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. But go Steelers. Um, let's see. Sorry if I'm missing questions here. I know you love Jimmy Haslip. So do I. Maybe something about him in the Yellow Jackets. He's incredible. Again, another awesome bass player who does such a great job doing what he does that people don't talk about him enough. And I told somebody this years ago, as far as electric bass players go, for me, he's a top 5 guy. Top 5 guy. I've seen him 4 or 5 times. I saw him last summer at the Baked Potato in LA with Jeff Lorber, and he was crushing. People don't talk about him enough. I should do a video. I say those words a lot. If you know me, you know that I say those words a lot. I know my wife is probably laughing right now. I should do a video about Jimmy Haslip, and I will at some point. And he works on doing a video on Aaron Mills from Cameo. Yes, I would love to do a video on Aaron Mills from Cameo. I would love to do a video on Slave. I would love to do a video on Brass Construction. There's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of great funk bands that I grew up hearing around the house because my mom had those records. And I have a very long list of stuff. It's just sometimes I don't get to stuff. So just so you know, let me on that in that vein, I don't plan out what I do videos on. I'm very unlike any other YouTuber, I think, in that regard. I've talked to other YouTubers, and that they're like 2 videos ahead, or they know exactly what they're gonna do. I can't make a video unless I get incredibly excited about something. When I know I'm excited about something, I gotta knock out the video in 3 or 4 days. That's just the way I work. I get really inspired, and then I put everything I have, every free second I have into the video, and it's gone, and then it's on to the next thing. So um, part of it is probably I need to hear some Cameo. I need to just listen to some Cameo again and hear something that will really super inspire me, and start digging and do a little research. So it's coming. It's coming. I like to diversify. I don't want to be the 70s funk bassline guy, when I love so much music. So I love Cameo. I'm gonna do something. Sorry if I'm getting behind. Yeah, Franco Harris, I see you. Ha, Fleece. Um, yeah, some Steelers love in the chat. Danny Wilson, bass player from Jeff Lorber Fusion. Yeah, I see that comment. X Clint Zero. I had a talk with Jeff Lorber. Jeff Lorber is, I'm fortunate enough to say he's a friend of the channel. He reached out to me one time when I did a video, and he told me he liked my stuff. And every once in a while, he'll send me an email after he sees a video. And when I saw him at the Baked Potato, we had a conversation. And I didn't know that Danny Wilson died. It was either last year or the year before. And I definitely want to do a piece on Danny. And that's going to happen. How old is your Ibanez? Do I have an Ibanez? I don't think I have an Ibanez. I don't have an Ibanez. I had an Ibanez when I was growing up, but I do not have an Ibanez. I have a couple of Fenders. I have a Warmoth. I have a couple of Sterlings, and I have a Squire, but I don't have an Ibanez. Sorry. Um, have you ever played reggae music, and would you be willing to do a reggae bass video at some point? Abso-freaking-lutely. I don't know reggae music as well as some other people. My wife loves reggae, and I know she would love it if I did a reggae video. It's just I got to hear the right thing and be inspired. I would love to do a reggae video. It's just about the music kind of hitting me. Cover Barry Johnson, who played for Don. Oh my God, Don Blackman. Yo, that's a video that's been a long time coming. There is a Don Blackman video coming. I want to put a lot of effort into that. So don't worry about that. That's coming. Shake your pants. Fleece 3. Shake your pants. I'm not hip. You want me to start dancing? I'm kidding. Mark Adams of Slave. Yes. Yeah, that's a very almost sore spot for me. People have been requesting Mark Adams for the last 5 years, and I keep wanting to get to it, and I keep not getting to it. I want to do a Mark Adams. It's either going to be one line digging into stuff, or it's going to be a top 10. My fear is that I'm going to do a line and it's going to end up being Steve Arrington instead of Mark Adams. But I definitely want to do a Mark Adams. That's coming. Turin Porter video. Oh, T-Bone. Thank you. No, that was my pleasure. Sly and Robbie for reggae. I see you there, Super Nick. Check out Steel Pulse. Great reggae band. Okay, I will put that on the list. When are you going to see your upright bass face playing electric? Ha ha ha. You don't want to see my ugly face when I'm playing electric. I'd rather give you a nice clean view of my hands playing the bass line instead of all of this. Um, the breathalyzer, love you. Love you too, Sean Johnson. Thank you for being here. If you want something to inspire for reggae, just go old school and spin some scatolites. Oh, I've heard of the scatolites. Okay, I'll check out the scatolites. Love the channel. Thank you, Sean. Pressure Drop by Toots and the Maytals. Oh, reggae. Okay, yeah, keep them coming. You know some reggae you want me to check out? Put it in the chat. I'll definitely check it out. Um, Shake Your Pants by Cameo. Ooh, I will have to revisit that. Some really watch watch or train in MMA or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, jazz life. No, I'm mostly lifting weights. I have a gym in the garage that I do um, to lift weights. I'm gonna. This may sound silly. My mother and my father both live out of town, and I never get to see them or talk to them. Hello, mom or dad, if you're watching. Um, and I want to do a vlog video at some point of a week in my life, so that they know how busy I am. But it has to be during the school year. It has to be like when everything is happening, like in October or like March or something. I'm gonna do a vlog video at some point, just for them. Oh, hey, how about Willie Dixon and all the stuff he did for Chess Records, Lonesome Bricolaire? I love Willie Dixon. I don't know him so much as a bass player as I do as a singer, a blues singer, blues musician who played bass. But if there's some Willie Dixon you can recommend, um, by all means, do it. He's an iconic figure in blues music. Um, Andrick. Oh wait, I'm gonna come back to you, Andrick. Original name said, any tips for sight reading? I can do it well for bass, but for guitar I just struggle for some reason. You got to keep doing it. It's not like riding a bike. You have to keep doing it. Jocko said, pick up any piece of music you can, and you have the internet. I'd say start with Bach. Bach has easy stuff. He has really hard stuff. The rhythms are fairly easy. It's reading the notes. Check out some Bach. Now, Andrick, have you met Ron Carter? Yes, I have a very great Ron Carter story that I will tell you briefly. I did several videos about the maestro. He is my absolute hero, well, one of my absolute heroes on the upright bass. He reached out to me on Instagram after seeing these videos, and he asked me if I wanted to have a conversation with him, like a Zoom session. And we had a 1 hour Zoom, and he was so gracious to me and so wonderful. He wanted to know about the basses in the background. He wanted to know what I was working on. He wanted to know about my channel. And through the whole hour, he was dropping nuggets. He was just dropping the most incredible nuggets I've ever heard in my life, of knowledge and wisdom. And there's a reason he's the most recorded bass player in history. He's the greatest. He's the GOAT. And just to have an audience with him for an hour is something I will take to my grave. I thought about putting my cell phone up and recording it, but I at the last minute I thought I just want to be here. I just want to soak in Ron Carter and just have this for myself. So it was such an honor. He's the greatest. He's the greatest. The greatest. Just like Herbie Hancock says on the record, the greatest. Um, how do you teach feel? Can it be taught? Jay Bird, I hear you. That's a great question. You can teach some elements, but in order to really learn how to play with great feel, you have to do it all the time. You just have to do it. You have to be playing gigs. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of gigs. The next best thing is to be playing with people. You have to play live. I try to explain this to my younger students. They're in a time right now where if they want to be heard, if they want to play, they put up a camera and they play along with something, or they play by themselves. I was pre-internet. I was pre-cell phones. If you wanted to play music, you had to go find people and play with them. And I also played bass, living in a city like Pittsburgh. Here's something I tell my students. Bad bass players will work all the time because people always need bass players. So play with people. Play with people as often as possible. That's how you develop a feel. You play with different drummers. You learn what timekeeping is about, stamina, musicality. Your 100th gig will be better than your first. Your 500th gig will be better than your 100th. Your 1,000th gig will be better than all of them. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. You got to play with people, though. You can't do it over the internet. You got to play with people, in my opinion. I'm 51. I don't know what I would do if I couldn't play with other people, especially being a bass player. Azimuth, yeah, I see you, Phantom Beat. Azimuth is sick. Is that how you say it? Azimuth. John Clayton is great, Andrew. Really great. When I was 19, he came to Pittsburgh, and a friend and I found out what hotel he was staying at. Um, this is a funny story. We went to the hotel. We asked them what room John Clayton was in, and they said, we can't give you that information, but we can call up to his room. So they called up to his room, and we got on the phone, and we were like, we're bass players. We want to see you. Can we have a lesson or something? And he came down to the lobby with handouts. He had handouts ready, and he sat with us for like an hour and talked to us about bass playing and careers in music, and it was the most gracious thing ever. He's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person. Original name. My daily routine has been playing from the real book because, jazz. Is starting on Bach or something similar a better way to warm up with? Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I would say give yourself some structure. You got to have structure. Starting with Bach could be a good place. I would say a method book, even if it's something like the Simandl method. Ron Carter has a great method book that I teach out of. Something that progresses, something that takes you from step A to step C to step D, etc. Um, Jazz is great, but there's a spirit in jazz that says play whatever you want. Try it, try this, and you need to play within structures so that you can know what to do when it's free. When it says F7, when you know how to play an F7 and know how different things sound, you're going to be much more impactful than someone who just knows how to play an F7 scale. Find some structure and get yourself something you do every time you practice. I have my upright here. I'm going to play after the live stream. I'm going to do my maintenance. I have a bunch of things that I do each time. Find some structure. It's going to help you. This is all caps. I have to read this. Don't you dare forget Michael Burnett, the other cameo bass player who was actually funkier than Aaron Mills. Okay, Chris, maybe that's the video. Aaron versus Michael. Who was funkier? Would you watch that video? That'd be a hot topic. Thank you for that. Tips for being the best possible doubler, upright and electric. Treat each as separate instruments. I've heard John Patitucci say this. The electric bass is not the upright bass. Use the bow. Get as basic as you can with your technique, and get these things in your head that they're separate. That's a really good start. There's a lot of great repertoire for each instrument. I don't usually try to play Jocko on the upright. Sometimes I do, but there's a lot of great stuff that's been laid out for that instrument already. And I don't try to slap on the instrument, certainly. I try to put them in two different categories. That's what helps me. I'm not like Patitucci, but I'm working. So something's working. Let's see. Thank you guys so much for hanging with me for this. I'm trying to keep up with the questions. What videos have been the most fun for you to make? I had a lot of fun doing that Michael Jackson video. I don't know if anybody's seen that video. Videos like that go really quick because I'm really passionate about it and I fly through them. That was a lot of fun. I did a video on the greatest J-pop bass line ever, a kind of a music that I've never checked out, but somebody suggested to me on Instagram. There's I can't remember his username right now, but he sent me a bunch of J-pop songs. Hey, you have to check this music out. Will you do this music? And I clicked on things and listened, and I heard this song, and it had a bass solo in the middle. And I was like, that's bad. So I learned a lot about my own playing. I learned about J-pop. That was a lot of fun to do, and it was hard. It was hard to learn that solo and kind of break it down. I don't know. There's different challenges for everything, but I kind of ride the wave. When I get really passionate about something, I kind of ride a wave, and the video makes itself, if that makes sense. Great to see so many cameo fans here, right? Kenny Garrett with Miles, of course. I'm 51. When I was 21, every jazz musician my age listened to Kenny Garrett Triology. He's like one of, if you're a Gen Xer, Kenny Garrett is top five for sure. Um, Ethan Winograd, what's up, Ethan? It's been too long, my man. Western North Carolina, oh my goodness, we got to play together again, man. Um, let's see. Looking for some questions. What has been the most challenging bass player to cover on the channel? They all have their challenges. I'm only saying this because of recency bias. That Les Claypool bass line, yo, it was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Just because it's so off the wall, and also I thought about doing. There's a concept I had in my head. Those of you that play funk and you slap, you probably know that Louis Johnson had his way of slapping that was very percussive with his left hand and his right hand, and he was very big in his motions. And then Larry Graham had a totally different way of doing the thumping and plucking. His was more self-contained, more right here, more right hand involved, right hand intensive. Um, and so I thought about doing a video on how those two styles are very different. And as somebody who was mostly Larry Graham trained, to try to do a Louis Johnson bass line was really hard to involve all of this. And Les Claypool's thing was definitely coming out of Louis. There's all this left hand stuff, and I'm not that coordinated, man. It was hard. That Les Claypool thing, it was the hardest thing that I've done in a long, long, long time. That bass line, there's a reason all the bass players on the internet, if you search Tommy the Cat bass line, you will come up with 1,000 hits of people playing it or trying to play it, because it is unlike anything else. So that was really, really hard. George Mraz, Luciano, I see you. Yeah, I would love to do a video. George Mraz is one of my heroes. He's definitely on the list. Wilton Felder, yeah, I did a video on Wilton. I would love to revisit him at some point. He's so great. In fact, I want to talk about Joni Mitchell again, and he's on that Hissing of Summer Lawns record, which has now taken over Hejera as my favorite Joni Mitchell record. I love that record now. It's maybe I'm aging myself out. If you were playing an Ed Mata line in a band, do you count the subdivisions or just feel it in an overall space? I don't count per se. I definitely feel subdivisions. I feel subdivisions. I'm not always going 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'm feeling 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a big key to it. I hope that answers your question. Charles Mingus video. He's awesome. Did you see I did a video on the photograph, A Great Day in Harlem, and the 5 bass players in that photograph. That video was a lot of fun to do. I talked a bit about Charles Mingus and what he was doing in his career then. If you haven't seen that video, please go check it out, because not a lot of people saw that video, unfortunately. It seems like with YouTube, when I want to do a jazz-related video, it does not get as many hits. It feels like people don't see those videos as often as if I talk about funk or pop music. So check it out. Yeah, I have that Mingus thing, but I definitely would love to talk about his music. It's just an inspiration thing. It'll come. It'll come, totally. Nathan Watts, one of the greatest. Notice that Louis, you called it slap. You called it Larry Graham thumping. Well, it's all thumping, apparently. I know they're polarizing, but any love for the Grateful Dead, specifically Phil Lesh? You know what? I've never checked out the Grateful Dead, other than the popular stuff. Hit me up with a Grateful Dead song. Not like, Touch of Grey or something like that. Give me like a deep cut, something I need to really check out. Phil Lesh, I know, is like a bass, was the late great Phil Lesh was a bass giant. Let me know in the chat, something I should check out. Popoquinha, he's a bad dude. Essence of Jamerson style, and don't say one finger. Okay, Marilyn. He was a jazz musician. Chromaticism, rhythm, it was jazz. If I had a clip that would come in right now, I would say, that's jazz, y'all, because Jamerson was all about jazz. jazz musician. All those guys. At any time, I just played a Motown tribute over the weekend, and we played a bunch of that stuff. And if you play Baby Love or Where Did Our Love Go, it's like swinging. That's like a shuffle. Boom, baby. It like can turn into jazz at any moment. But the way he played, the way he did rhythm, the chromaticism was jazz. Um, I'm running out of time here, guys. So I'm gonna do one more question, and then we'll talk about requests. Um, Manfred, what about Sal Cuevas and salsa music? I have a Sal Cuevas bass line on my list because I just found out that he played on that Billy Idol song, Eyes Without a Face. He played fretless bass, which I did not know. It's a crazy line. And I want to talk about that because Sal Cuevas is one of the godfathers of Latin bass playing. So that's on my list. That's something I want to cover and kind of work in his career around that. But yeah, I'm going to talk about Sal. He's been on my list for a while. Um, oh, thank you, Leo Davis. I see your comment there. Um, okay, listen, I'm sorry about your questions. I'm sorry I can't get to all of them. I've already been streaming for 40 minutes, and I want to take a second to see if anybody has any requests, anything you really want me to talk about on the channel. It could be something, I already heard about the Grateful Dead. It could be something obscure. It could be something right in front of my face or very popular. Oh, we got a super. Thank you, T-Bone. Wow, thank you so much. I really appreciate the super. Much appreciated. Anybody have a request? Tutu by Marcus Miller, one of the great records ever. I would love to do that. Thank you, Mr. Reckman. I appreciate you. Old school slap bass, a la Pops Foster. Okay, Alex, I have to learn to do it first. But you give me an excuse to do the video. I've always wanted to get into it. My favorite slap bass solo is the Milt Hinton solo on Trio GP. On three little words, ridiculous. If I could learn how to do that, I'd be on top of the mountain. Love a bit on Eberhard Weber. Oh yeah, great player. John Taylor. My wife and I were just talking about this. I'm thinking I get a lot of requests for Duran Duran, and I get a lot of arguments in my Kaja Gugu video about how Duran Duran was so much better than them. I want to do a video probably on Notorious, because that bass line is fire. I just have to do some research. So I'm going to talk about John Taylor. Scorpio, that comes up a lot. Big Bungus. Hey, I was in the Duquesne Jazz Camp last year, and I just want to say that was an amazing experience. Thank you, Big Bungus. We're doing it again this year. You want to come on out? Anybody in the Pittsburgh area? I teach at Duquesne University. We're doing our summer jazz camp in June, the third week of June. Come on out. You can learn how to play some jazz, have some bass lessons with me. Michael Henderson. Oh, yeah. Jack Johnson. That's a no-brainer. Doug Wimbish. Leroy Hodges. Oh, my goodness. Something on Arco soloing? For sure. Thank you, Mr. Reckman. I appreciate you. Chris Squire. Okay, let me say this about Chris Squire. My two main influences as a kid were Geddy Lee and Chris Squire. I can't do a Yes video unless I have a Rickenbacker. I'm going to have to borrow a Rickenbacker because to come correct with Yes, I gotta have a Rickenbacker. So whenever I get a Rickenbacker, you're going to see a Chris Squire video. Rio bassline is killer. Everyday People. You've been obsessed. Oh my God. Did you know that bass line is one note? Did you know that Everyday People is... There's a bass lesson for the day. Just play G's. Quarter notes. G quarter notes, you got it. G eighth notes. It's a great bass line though. Skillings, Wimbish, yes. Living Color, awesome. Geddy, awesome. Paul Jackson, awesome. Doug Wimbish again. Oh my gosh, he's coming back. I got to talk about Doug. Mick Karn. Mick Karn's a bass player somebody kept suggesting to me. Never checked him out. I checked him out and he knocked me on my butt. One of the greatest, one of the most original bass players who ever lived. And I hope people didn't take exception to my clickbait title. He was, I wasn't saying he was the greatest fretless bass player, but he's one of the greatest. Certainly a non-Jocko influenced fretless bass player who had his own thing. He was great. If you've seen my Mick Karn video, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, go check out Mick Karn, or my Mick Karn video on this channel. King versus Johnson, that's a good one. Hey, Barry Warsaw, I'm going to hopefully get to see you soon. We're going to hang out when you come to town. Wayne Braithwaite, great bass player. Donna Summer State of Independence bass line. Are you joking with me now? You're messing with me now, aren't you? You know I did a video about that. Spandau Ballet. Joe Osborne, legendary. He definitely deserves a video. Papa Was a Rolling Stone, awesome bass line. Orlando, of course I've done a video on War. I did the top 10 bass lines from War, although I did not include Galaxy, which I should have. Yes, there's a top 10 War bass lines on this channel. Mark Johnson, yes, one of the greats. Sorry about my air conditioner clicking on. Aston Family Man Barrett, Bob Marley, oh yes. Yes, we talked about the reggae thing. The iconic Willie Weeks bass solo. Okay, I'm a little hesitant because that's been covered already. I mean, I would love to get into it, but if there's already 10 videos about something, I kind of shy away from wanting to do that. Even if I feel like people are going to watch it, I'd rather deal with something kind of new or a new angle on something. I don't know. I'll think about it. It's one of the great solos ever. I just have to think what my angle on it is going to be. Doug Pinnick, hell yes. Wotek, oh my goodness, that's like 6 months of practice for me. I've never heard of Crack the Sky, Barry. You have to bring some Crack the Sky when we hang out. Lolita Holloway, Alex James, The Time. Believe it or not, Marilyn, I started writing a script on Fishnet. I was going to do that song. It's a very interesting line that you can hear him kind of doing an up and down thumb thing. So that's been in my head at some point. 65 Whaler. Thank you. Keep up the great work. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you watching. Every view means something to me. Every view. Uh-oh. Sure knows something. Kiss. Original name. Do you mean the band Kiss or the song Kiss? Because there's a Kiss bass line on this channel that I would absolutely talk about. There is a Kiss bass line. But would I have to put on makeup to talk about it? That's the question. I had the captain's hat to do Captain and Tennille. Would I get my face made up if I was to do a Kiss bass line? That would go viral, wouldn't it? I think it would go viral, and it would probably get like 9,000 views, and I would be humiliated. And my kids, the kids that I teach, would put that crap on every day. They would put it on every day in school, and I would be so Anyway, I'm just spitballing. Chicago Blues, yes. Dirty Loops, love Dirty Loops. JPJ, Francisco Centeno, oh my God. He's on some of my favorite records. And he was the sub bass player in Late Night with Dave Letterman. I'd love to do a video on him and his career. The band Kiss, thank God. No, I will check out the band Kiss. Yeah, you mean the band Kiss, yeah. Yeah, there's a bass line, there's a Kiss bass line I would do, for sure. Mount Rushmore of bass solos. That's an interesting idea. Thank you, Steve Hogue. I appreciate you, man. Space Hog. I'm not down with Space Hog. I have to check out Space Hog. Tony Levin, one of the greats. I have talked about Tony Levin on my channel a couple times. I have a couple videos where I talk about him. The Meters, yes, for sure. Yannick Top from Magma, and D Futura from the Udu Voodoo album. Wow, this is new for me. I'm gonna I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check out Yannick Top because I'm not hip. Pino's bass lines with D'Angelo. I've always loved those. Always. There's a lot of content on that stuff. There's a lot of Pino with D'Angelo content. Um, in fact, there's a D'Angelo. It excites me to maybe talk about D'Angelo Brown Sugar and the bass player before Pino. There's a bass player that he used live whose name is escaping me right now. I had a video idea to talk about him. So maybe you see how my mind works. Um, I look for not super obvious things. And when I make the title and the thumbnail, I try to sell them really big. But not, it's something you wouldn't see or know right away. That kind of thing. Stuff that's not like, and D'Angelo's stuff is so brilliant and genius, but it's been talked about so much. It's been talked about so much. I have to find my angle on it. JPJ Lemon Song, really great. Jack Cassidy, yes. Um, Ben Shepherd from Soundgarden, love Soundgarden. Lingus, Snarky Puppy, haha. My jazz band is doing that song. A really great one. Melvin Gibbs, great bass player. Confunction, my mom had all those records. These are great ideas. Prince was a badass bass player. Yes. So many great ideas. Jamiroquai. I've been wanting to talk about Jamiroquai. Um, these are so many great suggestions, everybody. Um, Andy Rourke. Wow, you guys are like musicologists. All these great suggestions, and I love that they're coming from different places. Rocco Prestia from Tower of Power. I did a Tower of Power video in October. I talked about slow vaccination, but I would totally revisit him. Phil Lesh, John Pena, Alex Al, another bad dude, and of course Marcus. Marcus is top five. Um, Colin Molding, XTC. Wow, these are tremendous suggestions. Um, yeah, so you should know. Everybody should know. You know, I play bass. You know, I'm approaching music from a bass player's angle, bass player's ears. But when I hear something musical that I want to talk about, especially in the last year, I've been a little more brave about taking on subjects that aren't necessarily bass related. Almost a year ago, somebody that I teach with mentioned mentioned some music that I just checked out. I was listening to Al Jarreau, and all of a sudden I was like, I should do a video about this. So the channel's going to become a little broader. Um, my wife said, play us out with a funky slap bass line. I can't do that, honey. My amp's not hooked up. I could play something on acoustic bass if you want to hear something on acoustic bass. Armand Sabal Leco, Nathan Phillips. These are all wonderful, wonderful suggestions. Alfonso, Slim Johnson, Jonathan Moran. These are all really great. Trouble Funk, Stuart Zender from Jamiroquai. Wonderful, wonderful suggestions. Um, all I can say is when I get inspired, it's when it hits me is when it's going to happen. And I have a big list. I have a big list that I keep. I'll show you right now. I keep a big list in the Notes app of my iPhone. So whenever I get, and you see some of these, I check them off after I do them. But whenever I get an idea or something that appeals to me, I add it to the list. So I have a lot of stuff to go off of. J-Pop Video sent me off on a wild trip. That's awesome. I've said this before, I said it earlier. The mission of this channel is to send people to the music. My sincerest hope with any video, whether it's about the most obscure song you've never heard in your life, or if it's a song off of Michael Jackson's Thriller that you've heard 1,000 times, My mission is to send you in the direction of the music. I want you to go and listen to the music again because it deserves to be re listened to. It deserves to be examined. I'm only doing a bad impression in my head of Rick Beato and Adam Neely and Rich Brown and all the other people that I love on this platform. Check out Rich Brownstone if you've never watched his videos. He's incredible. TED Talks Bass is incredible. I'm doing an impression of all my favorite YouTubers. My mission is to send you to the music and also to name names. I want to name names that you probably don't know, names that you should know, people who played these great bass lines or who participated in these sessions that deserve to be acknowledged. So go to the music, know who you're listening to. Uh, Listen to it harder, explore it, listen to it over and over again. Buy it on iTunes, buy it on Spotify. Take out the CD if you have the CD or the vinyl or the cassette or whatever. Go to the music. That's my mission, is to send you in the direction of the music. Always, always go check out the music again. So, um, that being said, when I get inspired, you know, that's the best feeling in the world, is to share my excitement. I want to share what I'm hearing. I want to share what makes me so excited. I want you to experience that because music is the greatest thing ever. And now that I'm 51, I don't play music or listen to it because it's cool. I don't try to be cool. I listen to it because it makes me feel a certain way. I don't get hired as a bass player because I play perfectly. I get hired as a bass player because I make the music feel a certain way. I want you to feel a certain way when you hear the music. Um, that's the mission. It's spreading some kind of, not to sound esoteric, spreading some kind of love through this music and sharing it. I'm just sharing my love of music with you. So I hope when my next video comes out, this mini Ripperton video, um, please check it out. Please share. I'm a little down in the algorithm right now. I don't usually ask you to subscribe and like, but I will right now. Please like, please subscribe. It'll help get my videos out a little more. Share this love, share this music a little more. And I think this video is going to be a good one. I'm really excited about talking to Richard Rudolph. I've only done really one other video where I brought somebody else in an interview type of aspect. That was when I talked about Funkin' for Jamaica, and I brought Bobby Broom, the guitarist who was on that record. He was gracious enough to tell me about that session. To sit down and talk with Richard Rudolph is like amazing. Thank you, Kay Josephine. Thank you so much. I'm honored by your contribution and your presence. Your presence is what makes it for me. Every view counts, and I appreciate every view. Wow, what a wonderful thing to say. D Mac, D Man, is that right? Thank you. Well, people inspire me to play the bass, um, and as a musician, as a professional musician, and a teacher, I have a responsibility, and that's to pass it on. I have to make sure that this music is around and other people are doing it and hearing it in a certain way, um, because I was here and I was able to enjoy it and do it and hear it in a certain way. It's my mission to pass it on. So it's the least I can do. Um, like I said, I'm going to start to wrap up here because our hour is coming to a close. But I will start to, as things get better, at home, as school starts winding down. This is my last week of college. My time is going to open up a little more. I will get to a little more regular schedule of producing content. I have a lot of wonderful ideas I think are wonderful. Hopefully, I want to share them with you. And maybe, just maybe, my wife will let me get a new camera this summer. Let's hope. Let's hope. Let's hope she lets me buy a new camera. So things will look even better. But she will tell you, I love doing YouTube, and you guys have allowed me to do this and have fun doing it. Um, I obsess over it. I get so excited. I think about doing YouTube when I'm not doing it. Um, it's made my creative juices flow in a way I never thought was possible. I love every step of it. I love editing. I love recording the music. And it's such an honor. And it's amazing to find something that gets me feeling like this. So thank you to every single viewer and subscriber that has allowed me to do this and continues to watch my videos. It's a pleasure and an honor. And all I want to do is be open and truthful and honest with everybody, as far as the music and my love for the music and sharing information that I get. And I'm honored that you would carry me with you, bring me into your home or your place of work on your computer, whatever. It's an honor to get to spend time with you. And it's humbling to know that so many of you have taken time to watch my videos and viewed so much of my stuff. It still blows my mind. This thing, if I could just wax poetic, this is amazing to me. This is amazing. The fact that I have one of these, I never would have dreamed that. So you guys really, um, yeah, you guys really make this train go. And it's still something that I love more than anything. I love, love, love making videos. And I'll keep making them if you'll keep watching them. I will keep on making them. So I appreciate everybody's comments. I'm going to make sure after we close the live chat momentarily, I'm going to go through and look at some of these comments that I didn't get to see in real time. But thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for watching the channel. Thank you for continuing to watch. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. Not because we want those numbers, it's because it just helps to get our videos out. Helps to get this out a little more. And I just want to share the music. Let's share this music as much as we can. Thank you all for being here. I want to do this again. If you like this, maybe sometimes when I get some time, I can work this into a regular thing where we sit down and we talk. I can have my bass. I can do it with a better camera. Yeah, feedback is always great. Please drop me some feedback. But as always, you guys are wonderful. Thank you for allowing me to be here. And I get to say my phrase that I never get to say on my videos, which is, it's a crazy time in the world right now. So please remember to love your neighbor. Okay? That's the lesson for the day. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.